All right, everyone, we are here recapping Tennessee's 35-12 win against Missouri here at Neyland Stadium, where we had football again in the state of Tennessee. I'm Mike Wilson, joined by Blake Topmeyer here. As we recap this win, obviously a good one for Tennessee to move to 2-0 this season. Starting place for this conversation, this game, is certainly the offensive line rushing attack. 230-some yards, say, on the ground, almost 200 just from Ty Chandler and Eric Gray. Freshman Jabari Small got involved. Cade Mays joined the offensive line. Blake, what was your impression of what Tennessee's offense was able to do today?
Well, this was the offensive line and the running game we were expecting, right? Like, going into this season, when we looked at Tennessee's offense, we thought this is an offense where the offensive line and the ground game has to be the backbone of the team. And it was today. I mean, you had Cade Mays joining the line, and certainly that had an impact. I think especially in the run game, Mays had some missed assignments in pass protection, but I thought he looked good in the run game. But I don't think it was just him. Like, I really felt like this line took a good step from week 1 to week 2. Wanye Morris, I thought, was excellent today. And then beyond that, Tennessee just showed commitment to the run. I mean, Jeremy Pruitt, it was kind of funny in his post game. He said, well, the first thing to being a good run team is you have to actually run the football. And I thought that might have been kind of like a bit of a pointed comment last week, not making enough of a commitment to the run maybe for his liking. He talked about how Missouri packed the box in this game, and yet Tennessee just said, we're going to run anyway, stop us if you can. And Missouri couldn't. And I thought it really showed what we thought at the onset of the season, was that this is a team where the hallmarks have to be the offensive line and the ground game.
On the other side of the ball, Tennessee's defense only allowed 12 points, but also allowed 350 yards to a rather pedestrian Missouri offense. Certainly a bad Missouri offense with Sean Robinson at quarterback. But after making a change, Missouri kind of put some drives together there. I think the turning point, Blake, we'd probably both agree, was the interception for Tennessee. Theo Jackson picking it off. I think it was a 16-point game at that point. Missouri's in Tennessee territory. Certainly a moment that could have swung. But what was your overall impression of the defense today on what kind of seemed like an up and down day?
Yeah, I never really felt like this game was in danger of swinging back the other way, but certainly that Theo Jackson interception was key to really prevent any thought of a Missouri rallying and making this thing interesting. But, for Tennessee's defense, I thought it was better than the season opener. Like, I thought there were some strides that have been made. I thought Theo Jackson overall was better covering the middle of the field at that nickelback position and made a better impact than what Tennessee got last week out of Danico Slaughter. But still, not a dominant performance by the defense. You'd like to see the defensive line be a little bit more disruptive. DeAndre Johnson, another sack, but overall, I didn't think Tennessee's defense was too disruptive. Of course, they're hamstring a little bit in the secondary. They're still without Sean Schamberger, didn't play today, and then Bryce Thompson, one of their other top defensive backs, was used sparingly because he got banged up in practice this week. So, not a unit at full speed, but still, I felt like sort of just kind of an average effort against an offense that probably ranks toward the bottom of the SEC. You mentioned when Sean Robinson was in the game, Missouri looked pretty inept offensively. Got a little better when they changed quarterbacks, but still, Missouri's strength is not its offense.
So 2-0 start for Tennessee. Big things for Jeremy Pruitt. Got a win in a season opener. Got a win in the home opener. Now the test is Georgia. Obviously a big one there for Tennessee to have coming up. Jeremy Pruitt said afterward he thinks absolutely this program's ready to challenge and contend with the likes of Georgia. What do you make of this matchup a week out?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Henry To'oTo'o called it a dogfight, and I think it could be. It's the next step for Tennessee. They established last year that they were the third best team in the East. You can't really contend with Georgia and Florida until you at least provide separation between yourselves and Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. Tennessee did that last season. They provided that separation and got themselves to third place in the East. But they really, didn't look particularly close still to Florida or Georgia. So now's that opportunity to see, okay, they look like they're not going to backslide this year. They look like they're still going to stay ahead of teams like South Carolina and Missouri. But are they any closer to Georgia and Florida? I think maybe they are. I think, this offensive line, if it plays the way it did today, if they can continue to play turnover free, they haven't had a turnover through the first couple weeks, I think they can contend with a team like Georgia. Now, the defense has to get better. Special teams still had some blunders. Those got to be cleaned up. This wasn't a flawless game by any means, but I thought it was better than week one. And, we saw from Georgia in the season opener against Arkansas that they came out a little sluggish in that game. So I don't think they're, immune to some of these struggles too. So I'm very curious to see next week, because I do feel like, it's the next step for Tennessee, and, we'll see if they're ready to take it.
That's all from us here at Neyland Stadium, where Tennessee won 35-12 today. Stay tuned to all the coverage at Go Vols Extra and KnoxNews.com.